family, children?
Well, wife. I don't have any children of my own.
Why not?
God hasn't given yet.
You, go and ask? What does he say? I won't give it to you yet?
Everything is ready as I understand it. When I'm ready, they will appear.
How many full years again?
32.
32. Well, that means the turn will probably come. Education?
School only. Secondary.
How many grades?
11.
Why didn't you go on to study?
Well, I studied, and after the army, it turns out I abandoned my studies. I went to live in Novosibirsk.
Who did you study for?
Assistant driver.
Are you on fumes? Have you already had a drink there?
Not really.
Look. You studied to become an assistant driver, abandoned this hopeless story in Omsk and went to Novosibirsk.
When they had already expelled me.
Oh, you were expelled. And you've been slacking off, not going to study.
Yeah, I was a bully.
A bully? So what did you do?
Well, how can I say? It is a little lifestyle.
Dissolute lifestyle?
How is it? It turns out that after the army I came and felt the freedom of action. Hands are untied. I put my studies on the back burner. I didn't think about the future.
Do you regret it?
No. If this happened in my life, then this is how it had to happen.
Did God say so?
I don't know who said that.
Lead a dissolute lifestyle.
No, God didn't tell me anything. I just chose this path in life.
Is there a God?
I think yes.
Why he didn't set you on the right path?
He's probably teaching me this so that I would go through some, so to speak, serious life trials. So that I would already think about something and live a calm, measured life.
What other serious tests must you go through in life after captivity?
I think it's probably enough already.
Like be dead?
Dead, that's probably all.
Final comedy.
Finish, yes.
That one.
To perish is probably when I'm really ready to stand before God.
When was the last time you went to church?
It turns out probably in August. Or not in August. Well, in the summer.
Before you went?
Uh-huh.
And before that?
Well, I went to church.
You went.
On liturgy.
Got it, okay. Got it, okay. There are people that only speak that they are such believers there in church.
Well, I came to faith at a conscious age.
After what?
Well, after I was in a coma, then I woke up.
Whoa, come on, tell me. Coma, as I understand it, must be something on the head somewhere.
No, it was an overdose.
Dissolute lifestyle in Novosibirsk.
In Omsk.
In Omsk. In short, Zolkin and I and our entire team do not support the use of distribution of drugs. This is all punishable, and the police or Ukrainian security service will come to you. They also have punishment. So, did you sell or use?
I used it.
How did you earn money?
Well, somewhere I worked, somewhere I scammed people,
example.
roughly speaking.
Oh, so you're...
We are somewhere cooperating with people like us who use drugs and together find drugs.
And how did you deceive people? Tell me about some scam that is also prohibited in any way. I'm just interested in myself.
Later in Russia they will reprimand me.
Don't tell me in detail.
Well, I don't know, thief, roughly speaking.
Well, in short, they never caught up with you, didn't find you?
No.
That's it, let's not go deeper because they'll put you in prison. Maybe this is another test.
Don't know.
Wife. Who is she? What is her job?
My wife doesn't work.
Where did she get money to live?
Well, due to the fact that now...
And well, now?
Now it turns out due to the fact that... Well, there are payments from the Ministry of Defense and in principle she has enough for herself. I don't spend much money, everything goes home. Before that...
Before this?
Before that, well, I worked, but most often I tried to bring money home.
How hard did you try to bring money home?
Well, most of it. Well, I took it purely for myself.
Is she from Novosibirsk?
No, she's from Omsk.
Same. Why did you leave Omsk and probably...
No, I broke up with a girl that I lived in the Novosibirsk a long time ago.
This is common law wife contact, or did you get married?
No, it's official.
Official. And where do you live now?
Omsk.
Omsk. That's it, I understand. Before the war, before the Ministry of Defense, how did you earn money?
Well, I did go, or rather went fishing. In our village there is a pond. Well, a large lake.
Pond.
Well, yes, where we are. Well, there is a fish factory from which you could make money. That is, you fish, set nets, and hand over the fish to the first factory.
And how much should it take to catch it?
Well, the perch seemed to be doing fine. Well, you instant 12 fish in net there, that's enough, and you slowly do it.
Well, what is the equivalent in money? Is this
You
like
could
industrial
make,
fishing?
well, $100 per day.
$100. This is like today is
10,000 rubles.
10,000 rubles.
Well, I just don't know how it is in hryvnias.
Why do you need hryvnia?
Well, just to convert it into hryvnia.
Yes, our people are guided. We're like 4,000 hryvnia, probably 3.8. Okay. And you like fish every day. How many kilograms of fish does it take to catch?
It turns out that 1 kilogram for 60 rubles was accepted from us. 60,
Well,
100
that is
rubles.
100 kilograms is you fish somewhere around 150 kilograms. It is normal.
Yes.
And what kind of fish
Perch,
is there?
crucian carp, pike perch.
And is there enough fish for every day?
Well, there was such a pond that you stood on one bank and you couldn't see the other bank.
Oh, well, you're just saying that there is a small one.
No, there are 3 lakes there, it turns out.
Got it. And were there many people like you there?
Well, not everyone could get a license.
It was necessary to deal, sort of.
Well,
a bribe.
well, something like this.
You don't have to tell me, it's always like this there. Well, with us probably too. Like,
Well, again, it's just that everyone wasn't to get money without putting in any effort.
well, like you in your
I'm
past life.
from that contingent that I know that in any case you need to do something, work on something to earn money. Something needs to be done to then have a return.
Rob a person.
I didn't rob people.
Like shops, stalls.
Well, I went to the shops.
Well, I see. Okay. What did your parents do?
My mother works in hospital.
Doctor.
Doctor, medic.
Which doctor?
Physiotherapy, sort of.
In short, mighty nonsense.
Yes, my father works as a driver. Rustelecom, well,
It's some kind of bullshit, obviously. Do they live separately? And where do they live?
they live in a village in Krutinka, from Omsk 200 kilometers.
Like close?
Well, minibuses got there. You can go to the city and back.
Awesome. They operate at distances of 200 kilometers. It's like it's not far.
Far away, but still, there are no
well,
barriers.
I see. Do you have a car?
No.
Uh-huh. Yes, it's clear. When were you mobilized?
It turns out to be the 2022 in October 5.
Did the humans arrive on October 5?
Well, they called. I was fishing. I already worked on the boats from a fish factory. And, they called. My mother called. She said that the humans had arrived. Well, if it arrives, then it's so. I have to go.
What did you know at that moment? What was happening?
Well, just heard that some troubles, roughly speaking, are happening in Russia and Ukraine.
What troubles?
Well, the war is on.
Are these troubles?
Well, there are some misunderstandings,
What is
of
unclear?
course.
Who did not share what?
I didn't go into much depth, as it was said everywhere, according to all sources in the internet, everywhere, that Nazis live in Ukraine. Yes, and so...
This is a confession and Banderas people.
Yes, well, here's what you need.
Your propagandists call me Banderovets Dmitro.
It turns out that my great-grandfather fought some kind of debt, perhaps was still
Yeah.
present.
So did the propaganda still have an effect on you?
It is likely that yes.
Where are you going next? Well, what did the wife say?
Well, the wife didn't say anything. Moreover, there was a period when we did not communicate. We had a little fight.
What period is it now?
It's fine now, waiting for me to come home. We tried in every possible way to somehow not to go war anymore.
No, look, it's just like a question about what you had to fight about. If, according to your words, you earned, roughly speaking, plus or minus $100. This is 2,000 rubles, so this is even before the rate rises, like 120, 130,000 rubles a month.
Our relationship was not financial. It's just that I'm such a bum as I am, and that's all.
Are you a bum?
Well, yes.
And she?
She's a decent woman.
Why do you say woman? Is she much older?
Not much, but older.
Well, for how old?
For 13 years.
You're 31, she is 44.
Yes.
Well, give me some cigarettes.
Can I have one too?
Well, takes turn, because we'll suffocate here.
Yes, okay.
So, okay. Where were you taken and what did you do?
Well, it turns out that in Omsk we also had, or rather, we have a military unit of the airborne forces where I underwent training.
Did you serve in the military?
Yes.
Where did you serve in the military?
I served as a conscript in Ulan-Ude, Buryatia.
And how is it, sir?
Rocket troops. Well then, like in the army.
It's clear. And the missile forces, who were you?
Mechanic radio telephone operator.
Who the hell knows what that means? In short, you were driving.
No, I was sitting on this, on a radio station, regularly speaking, in touch with division commander.
Well, yes. And they assigned you to the airborne forces.
After mobilization, yes, I was assigned to the airborne forces.
What was it called, your entire unit?
Where did I undergo training?
No, we're all done with the training, that's all. When did you start fighting?
Well, when I started fighting, it turned out that the 76th Division, 237th Regiment, Sapper Engineer, Field Company.
Understood. When did you enter Ukraine?
Lugansk is considered to be in Ukraine.
Come on, of course it is considered.
Well, that means October, November. In November, in the early days, we were already there. We were preparing the rear zone.
Got it. The first time you were in positions?
At the end of December.
Yes. Where was it and what were you doing?
In the Kremen forests, it turns out there. We took up active defense.
What do you mean active defense? You're on the attack.
Well, at that moment it was that we were on the defensive.
And what happened there? Were you assaulted?
Well, shelling. There were all sorts of different cases. There were assaults.
Were assaults on you?
Well, we were assaulted and we were doing assaults.
How long did that last?
Well, it turns out that, regularly speaking, we were in position for 10 days. Then there was a
I just don't
rotation.
believe that you... What?
Well, there was a rotation. We were taken out as a sapper. My task was simply to check for the presence of enemy minefields.
I understand. I don't believe that you have been fighting since 2022 and haven't been on a vacation. You haven't been injured.
There was an injury.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
When was the injury?
In March.
So you successfully fight until March?
Well, how successful that? Well, with the rotation that took me to the rear zone when I went on assignments again. Accordingly, in March I already caught my shrapnel.
During this December, January, February, March, over 4 months, how many wounded and dead were in your units?
But I didn't even count. I knew that, well, there's a lot.
Well, a lot. Is there a number?
I can't say that. Well, I didn't
5.
count. Well, more than 5. Wounded and dead because
30.
of massive strikes, so to speak.
Was it 30?
Was.
Well, you know this video is needed for history. Someone someday, maybe some specialist or historian will want to raise it. He will look there and say, do you have the 273rd Regiment?
237th.
The 237th Regiment fought and they had so many losses there. What do you think is the number of losses in your unit? Before you got wounded?
Well, there were probably 500 dead and wounded.
500 people?
Well, I think so.
On what part of the front is this in length?
I can't tell you length.
What approximately? 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers? Were you stretched too much there?
But I didn't really run along it that much because I didn't even know where ours ended. Somewhere other, let's say, divisions, other units began.
Well, I see. Clearly, 500 people is normal. Tell me how you got injured. When was it?
Before the assault, it turns out I had to carry out reconnaissance. Well, and accordingly, there was artillery shelling of the enemy positions. Well, a shell hit the 3 overhead. There was an explosion and shrapnel hit me.
Where it hit?
It went sideways.
A shrapnel?
One to fly out, one left inside and more from the back.
Extracted?
One is not.
Were you evacuated?
From there, yes, I was evacuated, that's it.
And what is up with you to the hospital?
Well, it turns out that I was taken from the front line to Rubezhne, from Rubezhne further towards Belgorod, from Belgorod to Moscow.
Were you treated in Moscow?
Yes.
How long did you undergo treatment?
Well, in August, in July, at the end of July, I already arrived at the unit.
That is in August?
In August, I was already sent by Boeing, or rather by plane, to this. In short, to my own people, to the rear zone, to the boys.
In short, you were wounded. In March, April, May, June, July, you were treated?
Yes, I paid the Military Medical Commission all these commissions.
How many payments have you got?
Well, 3 million presidential
3 million.
payments.
Where did you spend it?
Haven't spent it anywhere yet. It is saved.
Where did the wife spend it?
Don't know. I don't know, really.
Well, what, you didn't buy anything?
No. The plan was to buy an apartment.
How much does apartment in Omsk cost?
You can get a 2-room apartment for 3 million anymore.
Has it become more expensive?
Well, sort of, yes.
At what point in all this time was the relationship with your wife restored?
Well, this was right away when she found out that I was going to war.
Did she react normally?
Well, she said I shouldn't have done that I am a fool.
How much money did you transfer to her?
Well, it turns out that my entire salary goes on the card there to her. I didn't take the card with me. She has all the money. If I need money, I will call and they will transfer me as much as I need.
Come on, let's transfer it to me. About 100,000.
Is it necessary?
Well, that'll do.
What will I get from this?
What do you want to get out of this? This 100,000 will save someone's life. 100,000 rubles is $1,000. It's under the new tariffs. The prices for captives have fallen. These are the bonuses that I pay to our military for replenishing the exchange fund. This will be 6 mobilized or 10 prisoners. Prisoner, $100. Mobilized.
Well, we can talk about this later.
Why later? We have democracy and openness. Do you know what openness is?
I guess, Rugly, I don't know in general. It will be said more truthfully.
That's right. So you don't go on thin ice and then break off, right?
Yes, for not talking too much.
In short, there was a commercial offer. Okay, in August, you return to your unit, to your permanent deployment point. Where is it? In Omsk?
No, why? Not in Omsk. It turns out that I crossed the line and from there to Kremenaya.
Again already?
We have already been transferred from there. Well, there was rotation and our regiment was taken out of there. And so we moved to Zaporozhye.
Is the regiment badly battered?
It seems like our people have already begun to advance there. And they took us from there. We moved to...
When you came back in August, were there still people you served within the spring?
Yes, they were.
Doubtfully. Okay, what happened next when you were captured?
It turns out... So October 5 when I was drafted. I mean the force I was drafted on October 5 I was already, in captivity. A year has passed.
Please tell me about the last day. How was it? Where have you been? What task? Well, or in a few days if you've been somewhere.
Well, it turns out we were in the Zaporozhye direction in this area, and between Robotina and Verbov, apparently there, was captured. We were assigned to an assault detachment, where we had to carry out a breakthrough, gain a foothold there, and leave minefields.
Did he also remain a miner?
Yes, still a sapper.
So you know about mines?
Well, sort of. They say experience it. Also, I don't
Understood.
consider myself that way.
Understood. So what happened?
Well, it turns out that we arrived at these positions. It seemed that we were starting to gain a foothold, but it was not possible to dig and entrench because there was massive shelling, heavy precipitation.
What did you see?
Heavy precipitation.
Heavy precipitation. Cool, no one has ever said that before. There were drones, right?
Kamikaze drones, cluster kamikazes, 120s, 150s.
120s, 150s. It's clear.
I don't know, it seems like those who were with me, a lot of people were killed. That is, they died.
Okay, then. Isn't that good?
Well, I don't think murder is good.
Why did you come with a gun then? How to understand that in the conception I believe in God? You got injured, God gave you a chance once. They even gave you money. Dollar millionaire. 3 million plus, essentially the 23rd year plus the year and a half you've been fighting, that's about another 3 million. You already raised about 5 million. How is it in their conception of making bloody money? With God.
No way.
That's all?
Yes, I don't know how to answer this question.
Why didn't you retire after being wounded?
They didn't retire me because they said I was fit.
But you decided that you don't
I
want
had
to.
no desire to return, but nevertheless, all the documents said that I was fit.
Well, why not refuse to go?
I was afraid of the responsibility that they would imprison me.
Is it better to die?
I don't think so now.
What do you think now?
I think it's probably better to go to prison as a last resort.
But do you understand that after captivity you're still fit?
I understand, of course.
So what will you do?
I don't know yet.
Let's think collectively. Together. I'm interested in your actions. They exchange you, for example.
I usually resolve issues as they arise. When I get there, I already figure out what to do.
Experience has shown that you're bad at solving things on the spot. With shrapnel, this is already a situation. A problem.
Problem.
Did you have to solve it?
Have to.
Not solved? Maybe you need to change strategy and try to solve problems before they arise. Well, this is purely reasoning. Bless you, thank you.
Be healthy.
I will. But this is not certain. Well, yes, in summary, what happened there? How did you get captured?
Then I heard the conversation.
So you've been in French.
We were in a trench with a friend.
How many of you were there?
There were 2 of us.
And you say many more have died.
We weren't just in the same trench.
How many were in positions?
The assault group consisted of about 15 people. Something like that.
Yes, you say many more have died. How many died?
I know only 4 of us left.
Did the others die?
I didn't see the rest. I don't know where they are at all.
Understood.
Because there were the shootings going on and I didn't see anyone else.
Understood. Shootings are coming, you're all hiding in the trenches. And further?
Well, they took me out. It turns out that they heard a conversation with an accent.
Had the shelling stopped?
Well, yes. Well, we heard it accordingly. We started asking the commander what to do, but the commander was not heard. That is, he didn't answer anything. It seems like we started to shoot back, but the machine guns jammed because we were driving there in an infantry fighting vehicle. Well, in short, it failed.
Where is the connection?
And I was also wounded and was not combat ready.
You're driving an infantry fighting vehicle and your gun's jammed. Where's the connection?
The fact that it was very dusty, all the machines were filled with
that's it, I
dust, it
understand.
didn't work. Well, and accordingly they said, come on, give up, we won't kill you. Well, we thought about that and finally gave up.
What do you mean we thought?
Well, that is, we didn't know what to do. I've heard a lot about how once captured, roughly speaking, that is, they castrate on the spot.
We won't show it. YouTube doesn't like that.
Well, they torture and so on and so forth.
How many times were you tortured today?
Not once today.
And yesterday?
Never either.
And you say not even once a day, but when were they tortured?
Well, when they captured us, there were moments when we were captured.
What was it for?
I don't know, it wasn't. I probably didn't know.
The fact that you came with a gun and wanted to kill them doesn't count?
Counts.
Well, how would it be? Logical?
Logical.
I guess. I don't know. Right here or there, in the comments. Somewhere. Who took you in captivity?
Well, Ukrainian soldiers.
I understand. What language did they speak?
Well, some in Russian, some in Ukrainian.
But you came...
Well, they spoke to us in Russian.
and among themselves in Ukrainian.
Well, among themselves too in Russian.
How is it that you came to defend Russian-speaking people and then Russian-speaking people take you captive?
Well, I don't know.
Nothing? Or doesn't it matter?
Well, there's some kind of
What
inconsistency.
inconsistency? What?
Well, the fact is that they are Russian speaking.
And so, why do Russian-speaking people take you captive and not run away with you? Maybe there isn't a language problem here.
Don't know. It doesn't see any problems. You and I even speak, it seems, in Russian.
Well, sort of, yes.
I probably came to protect you. I'm confused, to be honest.
Let's unreveal.
Uh-huh.
Dude, I called you and asked you to come protect me?
No.
Did anyone call you at all?
No.
How did this happen?
The Ministry of Defense called me.
Let's do it again. Spell it out. Ministry?
Of Defense.
Defense. Where have you been captured?
In Ukraine.
Should the Ministry of Defense be renamed?
Don't know.
Ministry of Attack. Who attacked whom?
Russia.
Well, yes, so you say it hesitantly like there are some other options.